Today, I'm going to talk to you about the 5 things that I tested in 2025 that got me coaching clients and will also work for you in 2026. If you don't know me and don't follow my channel yet, my name is Stephanie Fitani, and I have been coaching coaches for the past 10 years. I've got my finger on the pulse on what's happening in the coaching industry, and I have a strong background in marketing, having owned my own marketing agency for over 12 years. So you're in good hands. And I'm going to talk to you about my own experience last year generating leads for my business after what I saw was happening in my coaching clients' businesses. Okay, so let's dive straight in. So the first thing I did was a bit of an obvious one if you're here, YouTube videos. So I had a dormant YouTube channel for quite a while. I decided to reactivate it. I started creating videos that were between 6 and 20 minutes long. No surprise, longer videos got more views because the way things are working right now, and the reason why I took this decision is because YouTube videos are now being found much more by AI tools and also by Google. So you don't just have visibility in searches on YouTube itself, but you also have visibility on as a result to ChatGPT, Perplexity, and these other AI tools. So one of the things that I felt was worth trying was actually these YouTube videos. And there was no surprise that within about 4 weeks of doing one video a week, I actually started getting my first discovery calls. And clients actually spoke of YouTube very similar to the way they speak about Google. I usually, on my discovery calls, that's one of the questions I ask. How did you find me? I also ask it in the questionnaire before they book my call, because it's very important for me to know where they've come from. And usually it's a very similar thing. People will remember what keyword they were typing in and how they found you. So definitely worth asking. In this case, people could remember what they were looking for and specifically the video, then they go down a rabbit hole. Usually that's why it's good to have your links under your video. And they would find my website and book a call from there. I also have my book a call link under my YouTube videos in case people want to book directly. So how can you create the same process? So the first thing I did was one video a week, 6 and 20 minutes long. I do try to keep it all in one take, do a few rehearsed takes in the beginning, and then try and do it all in one. I do use AI tools to edit these days. I used to outsource that, but it's really not worth the time to outsource it and wait for it to come back because you can put it through some really nice tools. I can actually add a little bit of information about that. So if you're interested in the tools that I use, do let me know in the questions below. So, how does it work? You create a quick script. And if you don't want to create a script, you can, or maybe you have a blog, you can actually go to your blog. Scripts are quite easy to create. You can literally just talk it to ChatGPT or to Claude, record a sound file, ask it to turn it into a script. What's important is that you need to do everything in your own voice. So do record naturally. Don't try to follow a script. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you have the script broken down in a way that keeps people watching and convert. For instance, if you take a look at this video, it's very free flowing. We started off by just talking about the topic. Today's audiences want to go straight into the content. They don't want a long introduction about what you're going to talk about. Just go straight in, talk about it. If they're the right people, they should stay interested. Don't worry too much about that part. It's also important to tell people what they can do as a next step. So whether you want them to download a freebie, whether you want them to contact you for a discovery call, whatever you want them to do next. In this case, one of the obvious ones alongside other call to actions is actually ask them to follow your channel. So do it now if you haven't done it yet. Most important thing is that you remember to give value. It's extremely important to give value because people will not come back to your channel, people will not subscribe, and people will not value your channel if you're just giving very sort of high level information and not actually giving them stuff that they can go away and try. So with a little bit of a balance when it comes to YouTube, you can actually go to detailed tutorials or detailed workshops, which I highly recommend running as webinars on your YouTube channel, which is something I'm doing as well. But then if you're going to do something like this, where you're giving people information, you have to be generous with it and you have to make sure that people can get unstuck and start doing the first thing. And of course, one of the things that I would definitely suggest is that, I know, as you can see from this video, I haven't gone through a lot of trouble of setting up my background. I'm actually in the process of moving right now, buying a new place. There's a lot of movement. So I'm literally just sitting up wherever and doing the videos. I know it feels uncomfortable to see yourself on screen if you're not used to it. More uncomfortable than anything. I remember in my first video, you will hate the sound of your own voice. I hear this so much from my clients, and I went through it myself. But you just need to jump in and do it and not worry too much about the quality. Because the truth is, if your message is what people are looking for, focus on the quality of your message and you will be fine. If I had to give you a second tip on what to focus on, I would definitely say the second thing is sound. Statistics and research actually shows that people don't really care what you look like or what your background is like or the quality of the video that much. But the quality of the sound makes a difference because people want to understand what you're saying. So if you're going to invest in anything, just invest in a small mic and make sure that you are in a place where it can pick up the sound properly. So how can you start right away and test this particular strategy or this particular platform? So obviously get yourself a YouTube channel. If you have a Gmail account, you should have easily access to a YouTube account with the same email address. You just log in and activate it and start creating videos right away. Even if you don't have any followers at all, you can start sharing on social media. You can email colleagues, friends, get in touch with people on LinkedIn. You can start doing a little bit of outreach in the beginning. Maybe you still spend time in Facebook groups. You can do that as well. You can start sharing it around and hope that people will follow you. Your best bet is people you have already worked with, your colleagues, and you can also start from friends and family. Why not? And ask them to share. Because it's very important to start getting your first few followers to get a little bit of courage. And yes, I know it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Sometimes my clients, I'll be like, oh, I know that my followers, they're like friends and family, and I don't want them to see me like this. It is something you will get over if you really want to build a business that you love, a coaching business that allows you to live off your coaching as your full-time income. This is something that you may want to try. I'm not saying it's the only strategy. In fact, I'm going to go through 4 more, but it's definitely been quite central to building another lead source for my business this year in 2025 and in 2026. It's something I'm definitely going to keep doing. And always remember, you got to start somewhere. You can also use it to grow your email list and then start emailing your videos to the list. And of course, when you have one high quality video with information in it every week, then it becomes a piece of content that you can use for repurposing across other channels. And in fact, that's what I did last year. It wasn't the only core content that I created. I will explain how they were connected in just a minute. But for now, I'm going to go to the second thing that I did to get more clients. And that was actually repurposing my videos on social. And I know that for those of you who know me well, I have been a very antisocial person. I'm social, but I'm anti-social media. I have built my business on inbound marketing, and I have not used social media very much at all. But I think in the days we live in today, social media has become a must. And the main reason is because I've been exploring on how to get visibility on a lot of AI tools and get more visibility in Google and YouTube. And things are changing. And being present on social media is becoming something that can really help you not only get leads, but also get visibility across other things. So social media has become increasingly important to basically verifying you as a bona fide business. The way spammers tend to operate is that they might create a website and they might even buy backlinks and things like that, but they usually do not bother posting on social media regularly because you really have to have something to say to do that. So if you're a spammer, you generally don't have very much to say. So this has become one of the ways in which Google and also a lot of these LLMs, AI tools like ChatGPT, Claude, and all the others, that is one of the ways in which they verify that you're bona fide and it helps you build your authority. This is why it has become more important. There's also a very big opportunity that has been brewing. And this is another thing that has drawn me back to social media. The algorithms have changed. TikTok has really taken the social media world by storm. And they have done that by giving people more of what they want, which is ultimately what the Facebook algorithm was back in 2012. So, what's happening now is that people who have spent a lot of time even running ads to build a large following are in a position where even someone with zero followers, if they get the right topic that people are interested in, they can get the same amount of views. So the opportunity at the moment is huge. The playing field has been leveled again, just like in the beginning of social media. So what's happening is that by testing, you can actually understand what topics are working. And little tip, you can use AI and your competitors' channels to actually find out what is getting clicks and what topics are being pushed out and actually create more of that. In my case, what I did, I didn't go the competitor analysis way. I did look at my competitors. I did look at what's going on online, but I am pretty much really different to a lot of the people out there. So I focused a lot on my own content and connecting it and repurposing my videos. And what I was doing is basically I'm using an AI tool, which is called Opus. I can give you a link under this video. And I have set it up really nicely with this beautiful automation that just every time I post a full length video, it basically automatically edits into about 30 shorts. And these 30 shorts, after I have reviewed them, of course, because AI is not all that trustworthy yet, but it's getting there, but not yet, always have the human check level, no matter how much automation you use. So after I've checked all these shorts, then I make sure that they post to my social media channels. And with one video, I can very easily have 10 posts or not 12 posts on every single channel, if not more. I could actually take it up to 30, but I prefer to use the strongest one as opposed to just flooding socials with similar videos. So I prefer to just pick the stronger messages and just push those. I do post on social media platforms that I do not use. As a user, I'm not on all the social media platforms, but because the software allows me to do it so easily, I still post on platforms where I don't actually spend time there to go and comment. I'll check them maybe once a week, but I'm not going to be there to actually check. And what I have done so far, which is not necessarily the best way to do it. If you have the bandwidth, it's better to ask people to DM you. I push all my traffic to the YouTube video because the YouTube video has space on it to direct people to my links, which is to my website. The whole end goal of everything is to get people to my website. And in fact, as for those of you who know me, blogging has been a very big thing. SEO has been a very big thing for me. That those are, apart from being originally my core skill set, blogging still works today. It did falter a little bit in the last year. I did see some of my clients get slower results than usual, but the results are still there. Google has repaired itself over time. It has, in fact, just this month issued the new algorithm update for the topical content authority, which means that having niche sites need to have is actually going to be an authority builder. If you can create the right amount of blogs around the right topics for your niche, Google is now in a position where it is going to back you up and you're going to do well. Obviously, we also need to learn how to rank in the AI snippets, which is very important, and also how to get found by search engines and AI chats. And that's something I have been working on a lot. I have some amazing content and also a webinar coming up about that. So I do run my webinars here. So if you want to get notified about that, go ahead and click subscribe, or else just go to my website and register for the newsletter. Okay, so that was the second strategy, definitely repurposing. Obviously, you can do also social media directly if you have the bandwidth and you have the time. In my case, I do prefer to create one or two pieces of strong content and then repurpose it. In this case, I was repurposing videos. I do like to add a layer of storytelling because in a world where suddenly everyone's using AI to create these bland, repetitive social media posts, storytelling is going to kill it. Storytelling has been big for some time, but at the moment, storytelling and just sitting down and writing stuff yourself, and you can do it. Absolutely. I have a workshop that I always run with my clients on one to one and even in the group coaching. And I've had people come in there who said, "This is not my thing. I'm going to attend because it's part of the program, but it's not my thing. I can't really write." And by the end of that hour, they have written 1,200 words and they are like in awe about what they've written. So I've also taught people who said, "I will never make blogging my main thing because video is my thing." And 6 years later, they are still writing articles. So it is something that you can really get to love once you learn how to do it. But let's stay focused. But definitely, if you can pepper your socials that you're repurposing with a little bit of storytelling, it really helps. The next thing I tried was Google Ads. Again, went through a lot of changes last year because all the tools, including Meta Ads, have been adding a lot of AI features. And this made the whole thing a little unstable for some time. Maybe it's a little bit early to start using the AI features in these tools because they're still being tested. However, what I saw is that in reality, although the results varied throughout the year, like sometimes I got 2 discovery calls a week from my Google Ads, and sometimes I got 10. There was a massive difference in the amount of discovery calls. There was sometimes a big difference in the quality of those leads. So sometimes I got a lot of no shows. But overall, I got the same result every month, where every client costs between $240 and $300. And that's pretty industry standard in the coaching business. Although the data changed a lot from one month to the next, what I got from what I put in actually stayed pretty the same. Again, this is something that had a lot of difficulty last year. Even the way the ads show on Google changed quite a lot. But this year, it's going to be more stable. So we can actually start testing again. Again, I always recommend testing. In fact, that I should probably do another video for you, another reason to follow this channel about how to test each one of these strategies to actually make them work for you. Because every strategy can work, but you need to make sure you align it, of course, to your business. And the only way to do that is by testing a little bit. It doesn't mean that it's all going to be a test. You can get coached, you can learn how to do it. But then there's always going to be a few elements to tweak to get, especially if you want better than average results. And the last thing, it's something that I hadn't done in a while, is actually networking. I believe that because of the nature of things, AI is really overwhelming a lot of people. There seems to be this sentiment of people wanting to go back to face to face. People are actually going to events a lot more, not necessarily official networking events, but people are seeking the face to face. And of course, you can also do this digitally to some extent. So you can also network in Facebook groups, if that's what you do, in coaching communities, if you're a coach. So there's a lot of places where you can do it online. I think the face to face is going to come back in a big way in 2026. And if you're the kind of coach that can put together a community and can sell face to face coaching or training or create events that get people together, think this is going to be something really important. And of course, when you're networking, whether it's your own event or not, I think we definitely need to remember, and not only for networking actually, but for all the other strategies, that if you don't have your foundations in place, you can do all of this and find that it's not working for you. So when I was mentioning testing before, what I meant is that you're actually testing the medium and maybe different formats, different things, different topics. What you don't want to be testing with are the foundations, which means your niche, your packages, your messaging. You need to have those very solidly in place before you do any kind of marketing, because then you're going to have the marketing experiments. And if you're experimenting with your messaging, and maybe your brand, and you're on top of that, experimenting with topics and experimenting with the technology, it's going to take you forever to see results. So what you want to do is you want to know your ideal client really well. You want to have the right packages, the right pricing. You want to have your customer journey. And you also want to know that everything, including your pricing, are aligned in a way that you can, of course, reach your goals. They're in that sweet spot because you want to have a coaching business that you can live off. You don't want to be constantly in this, where do I get my next client thing? You want to build a lead generation engine. So you want to have at least two funnels that are bringing you in leads or discovery calls consistently. If you do not have that, you're not going to have a reliable business. And if you do not have the foundations in place, which is your core messaging, your niche, your ideal client, if you don't have that, it's going to be very difficult to make any kind of marketing work. And if I've worried you and you think that you don't have those things in place, I highly recommend that you book a discovery call with me because I can give you some pointers on how to get that going. And if you're willing to discuss coaching as well, I do have some offers that can help you out. That's all I had for you today. I definitely invite you to following this channel because I'm going to be running a couple of very interesting webinars that go into the different marketing strategies in the next 4 weeks. And for today, that's all I had for you. Pop your questions under this video and see you next week.